It's Friday, August 19th, 2011. I'm Kevin McShane, and this is the McShane Sports Beat Report.
Yes, against Jake Delhomme in Cleveland. He tried to rip his head off. And he got a flag then.
You know, if Ndamukong's got to watch you, it's not the 15-yard penalty he's going to get in this preseason game. It's the reputation that's going to go with him for the rest of this season. The officials will be looking for that, and all of a sudden, he won't even be doing anything that's very bad, and he's going to be getting some flags. Good pressure inside. Sammy Hill, number 91, getting the press, taking 2 or 3 people. Suh comes off. The play is done. You cannot.
Number 90. Reference half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
You cannot pick up a quarterback when the ball's rolling and try to slam him. This is not 1950s.
Will these fines in any way, shape, or form change the way you approach the game?
Not by any means. I think if I allow it to change my game, it'll change the way I play, and then change the fact of the matter that I won't be aggressive and I won't be getting after score. I won't be having an impact in the game, and I never want to be put in that type of position. So if it may be seen as that I'm doing a little too much, or that I may have to get fined, so be it.
A lot of people out there are saying that this is one of the best defensive lines in the game. How excited are you about this defensive line?
Definitely excited. And a lot of people have said we might be the best defensive line. And the key word is might. We have to go out there and prove it every single day. It's tremendous to have a core group of guys that are very deep. You can throw any of us out there at any particular time. And I feel that you're going to have to deal with every last one. We're going to wreak havoc.
Ndamukong Suh has been involved in a few violent collisions. His short year and now second year in preseason here. Willie, does he have to worry about starting to get a reputation of being a dirty player?
I don't think so, because you're an aggressive player. You got to remember, he's a D tackle. He plays in the trenches. He fights, scratches claws. You know this, Baldy, with the linemen all day long. This is what he does. When he gets a chance to get the prize, we're taught to get the prize. And I don't think some of his hits has been questionable when he pushed Cutler down. Okay, this right here, I mean, he could have let up a little bit. But once you have a quarterback or an opponent in your hands, and your head is buried in their chest, you don't know if they got the ball or not. I don't think he's a dirty player. Chris?
What's your position?
I think it's a potato thing. I mean, if you look at it, no, honestly, if you look at it, you got to understand. If he's dirty, then every player in the league is dirty. Because, I mean, you're looking at a game where people are out here and they're trying to win. Offensive linemen are always doing something dirty, throwing their guys' knees. I think that he's just taking his intensity. He wants to put it out there where it counts. He's trying to affect the game and do what he's supposed to do. But I don't think that he's a dirty player, you know, by any nature. Personally, I think that it's just the way that the rules are constructed that makes it look that way.
Chris, let me make sure I get this right. It's a violent game, right?
Absolutely.
It's a violent game. It's a collision game. It's a violent game.
Right.
I think the guy plays the game the right way. I think he plays with excellent technique. And I think, you know, if you get the labels being a dirty player, you lose sight of the fact that this is a monster inside that plays with great technique. And that's the thing that basically raised all our eyebrows about how physical he was. What he did in Nebraska, he did in the NFL. And you just simply don't see many guys leaving the college game and dominating the line of scrimmage the way he did this year.
And the other thing with it, the coach calls that's being called are questionable. Like there's a couple when he grabbed Barber's hair. That one right there.
That one
right there. Okay, that one right there. Okay, 1 out of 3. He's got fined a couple times last year. But when he grabbed Marion Barber's hair, if that's all you can grab, he didn't horse collar. He didn't grab it, but he grabbed his hair. That's what he could grab. You know, in other situations when he pushed Cutler down, because he's a big, strong, physical guy, sometimes when he hits these little guys, it's way more violent than it is if another guy's doing it.
Well, you said the key word, finishes. I mean, this guy finishes like no other in the National Football League, and I think that's what people are reacting to. But the hit on Delhomme, where he twists him and pulls the helmet off, and also Dalton, ball was gone, and he had
see the ball was gone though.
Well, I mean, but the ball, but it was. He hadn't hit anybody in 6 months. I think he missed it. The fact of the matter is, the ball was gone, and so then he gets him in his arms, and then he twists him. So I'm with you. I think the guy's an incredible talent. He's done an unbelievable job in his first year in the National Football League. But once people start to the eye in the sky starts to see this stuff, then he's going to be more apt, Chris, you tell me, to be penalized and labeled and fined.
Well, that's what's unfortunate about the rule change, because right now the rule change is affecting defensive players dramatically. And when you look at things like that, absolutely. If he can't see those things, then he's going to play and finish. He's doing his job. But these things are going into the front office, and they're going in front of Dale and the other guys who are paid to look after these things, and they're going to look at it and they're going to size it up and say, okay, well, this was wrong and that was wrong. So it is going to give him a bad stigma, unfortunately. We know that his intentions are just to play football.
If you watch him too, he's not a guy that fraternizes before the game. He's not out there trying to beat his opponents. He stays on his side of the field. He gets ready to play in his own little world right there. Kind of very old school about the way he approaches the game.
Aggression can be used as an effective competitive tool when it is channeled correctly. However, playing with passion and vigor while also playing within the law of the land can sometimes prove to be a difficult balancing act. And for Detroit Lions defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh, the juggling act between unleashing his fury and playing within the letter of the law is a continued work in progress, and his rules education lesson continued on Wednesday when the NFL slapped Suh with a $20,000 fine for his hit on Cincinnati Bengals rookie quarterback Andy Dalton in Detroit's 34-3 win over the Bengals last Friday night at Ford Field. Suh said on Wednesday that he plans to appeal the fine handed down by the NFL. Am I going to appeal it? Who wouldn't? I mean, that's my motto. Who wouldn't? If you would, why wouldn't I? He said when he was asked about the fine by reporters. Suh has been fined 3 separate times for his hits on opposing quarterbacks. In last year's preseason, he was fined $75,000 for a face mask takedown of former Cleveland Browns quarterback Jake Delhomme, and in the regular season a year ago during a contest against the Chicago Bears at Ford Field. Suh was fined an additional $15,000 for a shove of Chicago Bears quarterback Jay Cutler. However, despite being lighter in the wallet, the reigning defensive rookie of the year says he refuses to change his aggressive style of play.
I'm never going to put myself in a situation where I can allow a play to affect my team because I didn't follow through with my job. So I'm not going to stop playing hard. Like I said before, I owe it to my fans, I owe it to my teammates, I owe it to the coaches, and I owe it to the fans. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, that's the reason why they watch the game. That's one of the reasons why football is football, because it's physical contact aggression that is made exciting.
Lions defensive coordinator Gunther Cunningham took exception to the perceived perception that some have painted of Suh of being a dirty player. He also reacted to the league's decision on Wednesday to levy a $20,000 fine against Suh, and he was quick to come to the defense of his rising young superstar, while Lions head coach Jim Schwartz took some time out on Wednesday to also explain why Suh sometimes gets a bad rap around the league.
Let me just say this, as far as people are concerned, the type of people that I've been around, he's the best I've ever seen at an age of 24. We had a talk today for about 40 minutes, and I was bewildered. He is so mature for his age. His character is the highest that I've seen in the NFL as a player. I felt that a year ago. I told you how good he was. I'm not saying that I was perfect. I was right. I saw a good player. I don't usually miss him when I see a really good one. Well, he's equal to that as a person. He loves this game, and whatever happens, happens. He's going to keep playing. And I think what's happened to him is I've never seen this player in my life, meaning there's no one that's ever played like this at defensive tackle. And if you watch the tape and you have any sense for athletes, that's what you're going to see. What happens to him, there were two guys blocking him in the game. He beat them both clean as a whistle. And he felt like he had to tackle, and the quarterback had the ball in his hand, and that was it. He took him down. And that's what he is supposed to do. And there's no malicious intent on any of that. If you ever talk to him man-to-man, you'll find that out. He's a different guy. He's very intelligent. And, I love him. From not about football, but as a man. And I have total respect for him. I think he's a heck of a player, and he's going to continue to play like that.
It does look different when he does it. Some people, when they hit somebody, it doesn't look the same. But then again, it is what it is. The league puts it on the defensive player to know when the ball is going. So it's up to them. Just like the league puts it on a defensive player, not to hit to helmet. There's sometimes where a guy's leaning down at the belly and the receiver will duck his head and get helmet down and maybe he'll be fine. It's just, it's their responsibility to avoid those situations, and there's a fine line between playing tentative and playing, changing the way you play, and then also being smart. Finding a way to do it without getting penalized. But there are times, you talked a little bit about Calvin before, how big he is. There's a lot of defensive backs that have contact on him. They might get flagged on other people, but they don't flag him because it just doesn't look the same. They'll try to slow him down, but they really don't. It didn't change the fact that there was contact.
Ndamukong Suh has arrived on the NFL scene with plenty of fury and exuberance to be the very best player that he can be. He's well exceeded any reasonable expectations one would have for young defensive tackles, a development process that usually takes years to perfect has taken Suh all but a year to master, and I wouldn't hesitate to use the term unlimitless potential when describing Suh. The sky is the limit for him. However, the question still remains, is it perception or is it reality? Is Ndamukong Suh really a dirty player, or have we tightened the purse strings on the rules of football so much that we have taken the violence and aggression out of the NFL, which helps make it the most popular professional sport in all of North America? That's certainly a question to ponder for sure. However, when it comes to Suh, he's made his clear intentions known. He has no interest in modifying his style of play to suit whatever rulebook exists. And based on the results up until this point, I can't really say there's anything wrong with that line of thinking. Kevin McShann, Sports Beat, report.